Research is very important, but you got to decipher it the right way. For instance, when you look at literature involving studies on training, the thing is they're not training powerlifters or bodybuilders when they're conducting these studies, and they're coming up with hypotheses and things like that. They are testing this on people that are either straight up beginners or very new intermediates with weightlifting, which might mean they've lifted for a couple of years. Now, this doesn't apply to people trying to compete and stuff necessarily, because you have adaptations that have taken place over several years. You're not going to have the same response to stimulus as someone brand new or someone who's been lifting for a couple of years, whether you're natural or not. So that's where it becomes important, and that's when you see things like, my oatmeal spill over. Look at that. So when you see things such as blood flow restrictive training, which does have a place, especially for trying to retain muscle mass after, let's say, suffering an injury, or you see things like just strength training results, and you see like progressive overload being measured in an applicable way, it doesn't necessarily apply to people who've been lifting for a while. Now, the kind of literature that's very important to me are things that you would apply to anyone, such as the main important thing I want to make this video about, which is overusing stimulants pre-workout. So the literature finds that if you consume more than 350 milligrams of total stimulants, that means not just the caffeine, could be the combination of caffeine, beta-alanine. Let's say you're taking some yohimbine, some ephedrine, like whatever it may be that you're stacking in there that would have a stimulatory effect. The reason that cutoff point is there is because it's something that's going to physiologically happen to anyone ingesting it, which is it's going to cause too much vasoconstriction, which means that the blood vessel walls themselves are going to be constricted and they're not able to expand with more blood. This is extremely important, and this is why people really need to kick their stimulant addictions, because that applies to all of us universally. And if you're constricting those blood vessels too much, you're not getting adequate red blood cell flow into the muscle tissue while you're training. It does not just apply to pump training, it applies to all training. You're engorging the muscle tissue with blood whenever you train. So that is something extremely applicable to everyone out there. And that's why I cannot advise people enough that if you need to take 2 scoops of pre-workout just to go to the gym, you need to go cold turkey for a while. Fuck that shit. Fuck weaning down. You're probably not going to do it that way. And yeah, you're going to have a shitty week or a week and a half after that. But you're resetting your baseline and your set point. And you need to use these things strategically, not every fucking day. Let's say your hardest workouts of the week are back and legs, which probably should be if you're training seriously and you're just a human being. They put the greatest amount of nervous system stress on your body. That's why you tend to see people throw up when they push a set of squats or barbell rows really fucking hard, or deadlifts, best example. So that is where it interplays there. You could choose to have that caffeine, the pre-workout, on days such as that. But let's say you're going in the gym to train arms. You don't need the shit. You don't. You're not inducing enough systemic stress on your nervous system training small muscle groups like arms to rationalize using a pre-workout. And when you reset that baseline and you're using it intermittently, you're really reaping the most benefits there. The main benefit of pre-workouts is not necessarily sports performance, or gym performance, I should say. It has to do with just psychological effects. You know, you are inducing a state of releasing more ephedrine and norepinephrine and some dopamine into your body. These are all chemicals that, well, dopamine is your happy drug in your brain, but the other two are fight or flight chemicals secreted from your endocrine system. They're hormones. So when you're doing that intermittently, you're greatly increasing your psychological response to be zoned in, train hard, stay focused, get things done. And it should be used on hard training days only. Very important. I hope everyone got a little something out of this. Now 5-minute video. And what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna eat my breakfast and get ready for posing practice.